And how important would you say in life and making certain moves? How important would you say your friend circle is? I always tell people, man, you could be very intelligent, but you could be managing a Target or Walmart, but you have people who are people smart. And if you have a friend circle that's on the right path together, you guys can build just a hell of an empire, man. And I've seen where, like, for example, I was listening to something, or I read something that was talking about Facebook, right?
Mm.
And it was talking about like Mark Zuckerberg, a couple other people who got together and did Facebook, but there was another guy. He wasn't a coder, but he did art, like type kind of graffiti type art, and they wanted him to decorate inside Facebook offices, and they were gonna pay him, I think, I want to say 40,000 or 50,000 something. Or he could have took Facebook stock. He took the Facebook stock. Now the dude's worth like 40, 50 million. I mean, something crazy. Where he, because he became part of that team and worked with him, he got paid in equity. And a lot of people think, oh man, I'm getting paid right now, blah, blah, blah. But if you think, a lot of times you got to look for the long, because everything right now, people focus on the short. But if you look at your friend circle and you have friends and all you guys have a long term goal, it's easier to build with a team than an individual, because you can only do so much.
Right.
And if you got smart people around you who are also helping balance ideas, your weaknesses and your strengths, it might be your spouse, but if it's like, if you have a good business partner, or people who maybe have knowledge, I mean, that's why, they make these certain in certain things economically, like certain schools, a magna or charter school, it costs this amount of money to go there. Okay, the education is one thing, but it's your association. If it costs $30,000 a year to go to a high school, I know somebody, his son is 30 grand a year, and he's been paying since the kid was a junior, like a junior, since the seventh grade. So 30,000. So he's already paid more than he would have paid for college. But the other kids he's around, these are all kids you grow up and you build a bond with. So when you go to say, hey, Mo, my dad owns a ski resort out in Colorado. We got hotels over in New York, or we're gonna vacation over in Martha's Vineyard, or we're gonna go over here to Miami. And my dad, we go to Cuba every summer. You're hanging out with money. You're hanging out with game. Hey, Mo, my dad got tickets to the Indianapolis 500. You want to go? That's separate. All that stuff, man, it gives you a whole nother perspective in life. And when you don't have those kind of friends, and I'm not saying, you be stuck up, but I'm telling you, life is about association. And that's why certain schools, people go to those schools in certain neighborhoods. But when you get exposed, because I know the first time I was exposed to kids having boats in their backyard, and the big restaurant freezers and refrigerators and wine cellars. Ain't nobody in the hood had no wine cellar, man. I ain't never seen a boat in somebody's backyard and a hot tub on the deck, and you can go and kick your feet in the water, man. It blew me away, man. I felt like I was like, everything I had thought up to that point made no sense.
Bigger, you ever heard of the Sum of Five?
The Summer Five?
The Sum of Five. I'm going to break it down for you. And
Okay.
it ties into what you just said. The Sum of Five is the philosophy that you are the equation of the sum of five people you hang around. If you hang around five thugs, guess what? You're going to be the sixth thug. If you hang around five nerds, you're going to be what? The sixth nerd. If you hang around five entrepreneurs and business savvy individuals, guess what? You're going to be the sixth one. All right. They always say, you show me your crowd, I'll show you who you are. Your network is your net worth.
Yeah,
Who
you're
you
right.
associate with matters tremendously. Because let's say you're on some positive vibe. You operate off of a positive vibration, right? But your close circle, they operating off of a low vibration, low frequency, negative, right? But you on a positive. Even though you're on that positive, if you hanging around them consistently, their energy is going to overwhelm yours because you only one source.
Yeah.
Theirs is more gigantic. Theirs is more aggressive. It's more powerful, and it's gonna overtake yours. So then you're gonna find yourself subscribing to their ideology and their movements and their energy. Now you done got off your square because you hanging with some of five people that's not aligned with your purpose. That's not aligned with where you at in life. You gotta hang with people, man, that's gonna elevate you, that's gonna better you, and enable you to operate off of a high frequency level. That's how I made it. I hang around winners, man. People like yourself. If you're not on something big hurt, if your personality or your life is not similar or congruent to my purpose and where I'm trying to be in life, big hurt, man, I love you, man, but we ain't got no business talking.
Yeah,
I can do bad by my damn self.
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't. We don't need it. Yeah. So yeah, you're just a sum of the five people you hang around. It's simple. It's mathematics. It's not hard.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's not hard, man, at all. But but yeah, I tell people that, and that's why I'm just very aware of who I give my energy to, who I'm talking to, man. Because now I'm on the point now, bigger man. Certain conversations don't even excite me. If you're not talking about betterment, advancement, being creative, helping people, making the bag, then it's like, hey man, I mean, what are we talking about?
yeah,
It's no longer me.
yeah,
I got dudes that I mean, I'm real big, and I still watch sports. Don't get it misconstrued, but I'm not as deep into it as I once was, right? But I got cats that know me in prison. I was real big on sports, you know, betting and this and that, who up, you know what I mean, whatever, whatnot. And they still try to have these conversations predicated on sports and these menial conversations. I'm like, bro, I ain't on that. Don't you see my content? This is how I live, brother. I wake up at 5 a.m. Monday through Friday. I meditate, I read, I journal. You know, I'm moving with purpose. I'm being productive throughout my days. I'm making my hours count because tomorrow ain't promised. And if you want to be technical, man, they say life expectancy for African American males in his mid 70s. They heard that ain't a lot. I'm 35. I got 40 good years in me, if that. I got time to be playing. I done lost. I done gave 13 years to DOC. You want me to get out here playing? This is what I show dudes, man. And you said something at the beginning of the conversation too that I want to touch on. And this is, I'm a motivational speaker as well, bigger. And I keep my swag. As you can see, I got my jewelry. I keep my hat on. I wear J's. I got tattoos. I got sauce. I listen to rap music. I love it. I'm in the culture. But I stay in the culture intentionally because I remember growing up and I'm seeing these rappers on TV. I aspired to be like them because of the power, the swag, the bravado, the respect they got. But I never really wanted to do what they were doing to get that. I didn't want to sell no drugs. I never sold no drugs. I didn't want to do none of that. It's kind of ironic that I got tied up in a robbery, but growing up, I wasn't that type of kid. I didn't want to indulge in that. But I just like the positive results that came with it. So I aspired to be like that. And that's why I am who I am today. So in today's time, I say, look, why can't I be that same cat that has the bravado, has the swag, that's cool, charismatic, got the money, got the respect, alpha male, but I'm indulging in positivity. I'm operating off a higher frequency. I'm being positive. I'm showing the youth, the culture, that you can have jewelry, iced out unk and all that stuff. But I don't mean I gotta be robbing no bank, going to somebody's house, kidnapping, selling dope, mistreating the women, being a rebel. I ain't gotta do that. I can be an upstanding, productive citizen in society and look how I look. That's my whole purpose.
Well, you see, that's the thing about rap culture too, because I grew up in that whole rap culture, from way back listening to Run DMC to, Ice T back in the day. And, I remember when NWA came out, I mean, I was locked up with Sibo, back in the day. He was a gangster rapper from Sac. And I seen the transition from like Biz Markie, Big Daddy Kane, Special Ed, these rappers, Public Enemy, then how it shifted to a more gangster rap, allowing gang signs and guns and stuff into it, and how it shifted because it used to be really conscious. Like you could listen to X Clan and you'd be like, damn, you learned some shit about history, like wow, or you listen to Public Enemy or you listen to Brand Nubians or some of these brothers, man, and it was like it was great, and they were still, Rakim was he never talked about busting a cap on anybody, no violence. I mean, Big Daddy Kane, Biz Markie, you got the vapors. I was like, man, you got the vape. I wanted to be like them dudes, but it wasn't. I didn't think about hurting anybody black. I didn't think about any crime. I mean, I just felt like you could be successful and have money, but it didn't mean that you had to be a criminal. So I, endorse like the so-called culture. But what I see that's been flipped is that now they have it to where that's a tool that's been weaponized. It's weaponized in the community to where people are like, oh, it's just making music. He's helping his family. Look, man, young Dolph could have talked about real estate, trapping, Bitcoin, just getting money, being happy, blah blah blah, and it would have still have done the same thing because he was talented. Nipsey Hussle, he said I have to rap like this to get their attention, but Nipsey talked about going to see the Mayan temples, going to travel. He was taking dudes out of the hood, getting passports. They were over in Switzerland, going over, dude, these guys, that's scary. Now you take 10, 15 dudes from 60s, rolling 60s, and you see them over in like Italy. You like, God, what they doing over here? They ain't supposed to be out the hood. You take like, 15 dudes from Young Dolph from Memphis, wherever he's from, and you guys are down in let's say Brazil somewhere. Dude, that's scary because now these dudes they gangsters, and they G'd up. They're not soft, but they're worldly. See,
You're
once you
getting
become
exposed.
worldly,
Getting
bro,
exposure.
it kills everything because they can't. You're gonna go back and tell the homies or anybody that knows anybody or the people you brought with you, hey man, I was just got back from Italy, man. I was over there, bro. Baba, this opportunity. What? Man, yeah, get your passport. We going again next summer. Oh man, now you got 30 dudes going over there. You got
Mm-hmm.
girls. You change it. You coming back, invested in the community. It's
Yeah.
dude, your whole So what I'm saying is that's the we influence a lot of culture. So they use whenever they want to push. I'm just gonna say a gay agenda. They use somebody black. Magic
Mm-hmm.
Johnson's son. What's his name? The other basketball player. What's his name?
Dwayne Wade. Dwayne
Using
Wade.
his son. They use all. Why don't they use white kids? They use black people and their kids for the agenda, and then they give you a position. Nobody needed to know about. Okay, you want to do that? That's fine. But they use them because it influences. Like you said, Dwayne Wade. I knew a dude. He said, "Man, I knew Dwayne Wade's son back in the." He said, "Man, he wasn't like that back in Chicago back in the day. I used to, coach his son, and they get around there and they use those people as points of influence." Just like anything else. They took Lil Wayne, they used him in the Super Bowl. A dude from the hood, he's getting more props than these dudes who are Western singers. Come on, man. Your Super Bowl now is turned into a hip hop thing, and then you got dudes sitting around talking about, yeah, when I go to this town, I check in, Steven, some of these Matt Bowers, all these guys. I'm like, dude, why are you endorsing that? Why you keep pushing that? Why are we on that? We don't. You shouldn't. Justin Bieber doesn't have to check in when he goes to Florida. When he goes, Lindsay Lohan ain't checking in. You got Taylor Sheridan ain't checking in. Why are we checking in? See what I'm saying? They use us to basically imprison ourselves.
Yeah. I got an answer to that, man. But keep me on track there because I really want to. But I really want to elaborate on that. But I want to say this too. When you take guys from these environments, man, from these poverty-stricken environments, and you give them this exposure, other sides of the world, they nurture and develop into different human beings because they realize that I have options. The world is bigger than 50th and Crenshaw. Like what I experienced in the hood, the hatred and the bigotry from certain people, that's not everywhere because
Yep.
just because a person has white skin, that don't mean he's the enemy. Everybody not on that wavelength. So when you get amongst people that's showing you immense love and something different and accepting you for who you are, you really find out who you are and you understand your value. So when you understand your value, we talk about the frequency. I'm operating off of a higher frequency, so I'm less prone to reciprocate and to tolerate low frequency behavior or affairs. So when I go back to the hood, what I used to indulge in, that's low frequency. I'm better than that. I got options, man. This dude just showed me how to buy some land. Matter of fact, we need to get off the block. You see them down the messed up apartment buildings over there? We need to all come together, put it in the escrow account, everybody chip in, get in as investors, and we need to get that building, man, and make it our own. Instead of, no disrespect to anybody, but instead of always having Akbach, you know what I mean, the Arab that really don't have no investment and really don't care about the African American community, allow them to post up in the stores and, you know, get rich at the expense of the fiscally irresponsibility of black people, right? Let's put our own in there. Let's have a brother in there. I mean, Arab, he can stay too, he cool, but let's have big hurt people in there. Let's have more of our faces in these communities that takes in majority or a huge portion of the black dollar. And again, I ain't on the race thing because I'm way bigger than I learned a long time ago. My wife happens to be a white woman, a white Hispanic, a white Cuban. I love everybody. I say clear, I have white friends. I love everybody. But I'm unapologetically black, and I'm never going to shy away of the system that's designed. But again, I don't want to use that as an excuse because it's time and time again, it's been proven that you can, as a man of African descent, prevail against the aforementioned system. But I want to talk about that rap thing, right? Because you said something very paramount about that checking in. Are you familiar with the author and philosopher Naeem Akbar?
No.
Okay. I said his name wrong. I'm sorry. Sorry, Naeem Akbar. Excuse me. Naeem Akbar is a college professor and psychologist at the Florida State University, right? And he wrote a plethora of books. I read a couple: Vision of Black Man, Breaking the Chains of Psychological Slavery, and a few more, right? But in these books, he highlights the behaviors that was instilled within the slaves on the plantation. And one thing he talks about in particular that still translates in today's modern times is this. The plantation owners ingrained in the slaves that, hey, look, this is your parcel, this is your territory over here. If you catch another slave in this territory over here, you beat him up, you shoot him away because he's not supposed to be over here. This is part of your plantation. This over here part of your plantation. Whoever collide or intervene with each other territory, get them up out of there, run them out of there, beat them up. All right, sound familiar? So how does this relate to modern times? Because remember, it's all the plantation. Even though it's different parts of the plantation, it's still a plantation. You're still a slave, boy. We still got the same enemy. Got the common denominator. The master, if I get in the fraction, he gonna whoop your ass. And if you get in the fraction, he gonna whoop your ass, right? Today's time in the hood. The hood equates to the plantation. In the hood, the same thing. Drugs, women, low income, no income, poverty stricken. From my hood to your hood. We doing the same thing. But if I come to your hood and I ain't from there, if I'm uninvited, you willing to put a gun in my head. You willing to beat my ass. Because I ain't from your hood. And vice versa. Not knowing we got the same enemy, man. We going through the same thing in life. We poverty stricken, limited income, we fucked up. But because you from this hood a couple blocks from me, that none of your family or you own any real estate in that motherfucker, you willing to kill me, Big Hurt, about this territory. And he just related the two, show you how the systems are still in place in modern time. We don't even know it. Right in front of our eyes.